Hey, what's the story? Yours truly, Philbo here, and welcome back to Philbo Reviews on a beautiful Thursday here in Dublin, Ireland. Hope you're keeping well wherever you're tuning in from, worldwide, countrywide, wherever the case may be. You are very welcome here at Philbo's as per usual. Anyone new to the channel? Think about liking, maybe subscribing to the channel. Maybe hit the hype button. The hype button gets it out in the algorithm more. Gets more eyes on the video. More movie fans on the video. Which is always good. Sharing is caring, as they say. So, this section in Philbo Reviews is called Philbo's Favourites, where I talk about some of my favourite films of all time. And what I do is, I rewatch the film, in some cases for the 10th time. But in this case, I have just finished watching Shanemeadows, This Is England, the 2006 coming-of-age drama film, written and directed by Shanemeadows and taken direct inspiration from his actual childhood growing up in Thatcher's Britain in the early 1980s in the East Midlands. So, this is not a spoiler review. I implore you, as you know right from the get-go, this is called Philbo's Favourites, so I absolutely adore the film. So this will be a love letter to the film and hopefully pushing someone who has heard of the film to check it out, because in Philbo's humble opinion, this is one of the true masterpieces of British cinema and Shanemeadows' absolute shining light. So make yourself comfortable and let's get into it. My review for This Is England 2006. The film is set in the summer of 1983, July 1983, the last day of term, and we are introduced to the young, incredible Thomas Turgrose, who plays our titular character, Sean. He has top billing on this film, which is incredible for a 14-year-old in his film debut, but he earns every single bit of that honour. He plays a 12-year-old, unfortunately a disillusioned loner. He's struggling to make friends at school, and unfortunately he lives with his mother, who has recently become widowed as his father lost his life in the Falklands conflict. So Sean is completely lost, confused, missing his father, struggling to live with his mom, and him are struggling to find meaning now that they're just two rather than three without his father. Now, first and foremost, the performance from this young actor is nothing short of a revelation. Shanemeadows put Thomas into his actual shoes at his age, growing up in the East Midlands during Thatcher's Britain. And opinions about Margaret Thatcher, I'm not going to go into that. I think we're all very much on the same page with our opinions on how her rule of Great Britain was during the early to late 80s. So we won't get into that, but let's just say one of the pieces of graffiti in the film that is very prominent early on in the montage. The film starts with an incredible montage of all the goings on in England during the 1980s and the Falklands conflict. Unflinching, real footage from the Falklands conflict and snippets of what the Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher, had to say during it, and how disillusioned and basically the despair of the working class youth in the 1980s. Just the absolute lack of direction, the lack of purpose, the rise of immigration, everything. Everyone feeling like a stranger in their own country, for want of a better expression. That solidified specifically 1983 in the East Midlands. And Thomas's character of Sean is 12 years old, right in the midst of this, trying to find his crew, trying to find his purpose. So you see him doing a few odd jobs, trying to get some money. He buys himself a slingshot, and you see a few scenes of his solidarity. He's on his own. It's summertime, it's the first day of summer, and he's playing alone, eating a few old school jellies from the 1980s. He's eating this big fried egg. In the UK and Ireland, a fried egg jelly is one of the nicest sweets in the entire world. And you see him chomping down on a large egg jelly. Anyone from UK and Ireland, sound off in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. They're only this size nowadays, but back in the glory days of the 1980s and 90s, you could get big fried egg jellies, and you see him munching on one of them, delighted with himself. But naturally, all he wants is a male role model to look up to, and because unfortunately his dad is out of the picture due to taking part in the Falklands War, which of course a vast majority of British people wished didn't happen, think and have very strong opinions that it should never have happened. But that is a conversation for another day. But we're introduced to Sean in school, and it's non-uniform day, so he's has to wear his own gear, and all he has is these flares that are way too big for him, and unfortunately about 6 or 7 years out of style. So he's getting picked on for the clothes he's wearing, and he's struggling enough. He's grieving for his father, and bullies still all the different mods, and they're different, and the different, you see the different. Shane Meadows does a great job of, when you see him in school on the last day, Sean, you see all the different subcultures, all the different, the metalheads, the punks, the mods, the whole, but you don't see the group that he ends up becoming affiliated with, which of course is the skinheads. And the skinheads are essentially they're basically, social alienation is where it's all contrived from. Social alienation, kind of like working class solidarity, you know, the working class sticking together, staying together, having similar values, and essentially being outcast from regular folks. And they have the style, of course, the short hair, the suspenders over their shoulders, the Doc Marten boots. It's a whole clique thing. It's a whole thing. It's the skinheads. And after a hard day at school, on the last day of school, Sean's character is very down, and he's basically setting himself up for a summer alone. And he meets the incredible Joe Gilgan, who plays Woody. That accent, that East Midlands accent, is beyond perfect. You're breaking me out. Oh, Harvey. Oh, I'm Harvey, and I'm going to give you Jip. And he playfully tries to cheer up Sean on his way home from school, because he sees that he's down on his luck. And Woody genuinely reaches out, and Olive Branch too, because they're accepting. If anyone looks or seems or thinks different, I mean, that's the perfect remedy for being in the skinhead group. I mean, there's no judgment. Dress how you like. Have your hair as crazy as you like. Look, you know, there's no judgment there. So he found solidarity and a moment of solace with Woody after having a really brutal day in school at the hands of bullies. And I have to say, the thing that the bully says to him about his father really struck home with me, because my dad died when I was young, when I was 7. And if someone said that to me, you'll see, if you watch the film, you'll see what he says to him about his dad. If someone said that to me, I would break my fist, kicking their fucking teeth in. And in the scene, he blows up, and he attacks the person who speaks ill of his father, and rightly so, if you ask me. Fuck all that. Take the high road and just ignore him. Bang. When you see the bit, you'll understand. But that bit always resonated with me. So we meet Woody, Joe Gilgan's character. Incredible performance, so natural, so real. And basically they take him under his wing. The whole group. We've got Vicky LaCure. She plays Lol. That's Woody's missus. And then we have Milky, played by Andrew Sim. And we've got a young Jack O'Connell. And you know Jack O'Connell, who his film just won 4 Oscars at the Academy Awards for Sinners. The brilliant Jack O'Connell. I have to shout his name from the rooftops. He is incredible. Do yourself a favour, check out Starred Up, his 2013 film, his prison film. One of the best prison movies since Scum. Eden Lake, one of the best British thrillers and one of Michael Fassbender's early films. I mean, he is a class act. 71, the movie set in Belfast. Just the list goes on and on. I love Jack O'Connell. I think he is absolutely incredible. Harry Brown as well, with Michael Caine. It's just, he's going from strength to strength. And I hope the sky is the limit for him because he's brilliant. But he's in this as Pukey, and this is his first role as well. So that's basically the gang. A couple of girls thrown in as well. Smell is one of the girls. She's a great character as well. So they basically take him under their wing. They show him love. They show him compassion. They show him brotherhood. They basically take him completely out of his rut that he didn't think he was going to get out of. And he found solace with these guys, and they were caring and compassionate. And they made him feel a part of something, which essentially is what all of us want to do, right? We all want to feel a part of something. I mean, if you had to put me in a box, so to speak, growing up, I was drawn to metalheads. I was drawn to metalers. Moshing, whiskey, that whole bit, brotherhood, Pantera. The whole Pantera thing was brothers forever, stronger than all, never let anything get you down, strength in numbers. That was mine. And then you had the goths, the mods, the guys into rap and hip hop, and then you had the skateboarders, the punks. The list goes on, and everybody has their place. When you're a younger teenager, you learn when you get older that as soon as you fit in, because life is like Tetris. As soon as you fit in, you disappear. So you realize that when you're older, that to hell with fitting in. Stand out. But back when you're a younger teenager in the 1980s and 90s like myself and early 2000s, you wanted to be a part of something. And I can relate to Sean as well, because without my father, at 7, I had 2 older siblings and my mother looking after everything. But no matter how good a job a mother does, they can't teach you how to be a man. They just can't. They can fill the void to the best of their ability. But I turned to my brothers, my friends, heavy metal, Pantera. These forceful characters were like watching action movies, Seagal, Chuck Norris, Van Damme. They were my surrogate father figures. And they taught me what I thought it needed to be a man. And that's why I relate so much to Sean's character in this. Because he looks up to Woody, he looks up to Milky, he looks up to Gadget, and he just thinks they're absolutely the coolest, most nicest guys ever. And he wants to be just like them. So everything is absolutely peachy creamy. He's having the summer of his life. They're hanging around, they're bashing up abandoned buildings, which looks fun as hell. Something I never did as a kid, but if there was any, like the amount of unemployed in UK, so many businesses at the time were closing down and were becoming derelict, so they were smashing up buildings, which is fun as hell. I loved smashing shit when I was a kid. So much fun. I think we all did in a way. The sound of broken glass was just like, oh. But everything is great. And then we are introduced to Stephen Graham's character as Combo, and he's one of the first wave of the skinheads, and he's just come off a 3.5-year stint in prison, and he is best friends with Woody, and they embrace each other when they see each other. But a tension does start, and the film takes a turn when Combo comes into the picture. And Stephen Graham's performance in This Is England is masterful. The performances from everybody are absolutely flawless. And I really mean that. He has the aesthetic of the 80s down so perfect. All the cars, all the buildings, the clothes, perfect. The music, the housing estates. He just this film was 2006, and you would bet every penny you have that this was a film made on a low budget back actually in July of 1983. It is brilliant. His attention to detail, the brands of cigarettes, the brands of alcohol, the corner shops, even down to the jellies and that he eats from the sweet shop and Cola cubes, he says he wants to get. Everyone loves cola cubes. Frosties, we call them in Dublin. But it's basically the perfect depiction of the despair of the working class, the youth especially in the 1980s. And it's just, it's so perfect. The music is brilliant. Even at the start of the film, 5446, you know, that's my number. Toots and the Maytals, through the opening credits. One time, give it to me. Two times. Everything about it is absolutely brilliant. But Stephen Graham's character brings the story in the midway point to a darker place. He basically decides he's going to draw a line on the floor, so to speak, and if you want to join him in his mission to take back England, as he says, the propaganda that he puts to them to try and sway them to take a more violent, full-on, physical approach to taking back what is theirs, so to speak, which is England. And he manipulates Sean into joining the side by mentioning the Falklands, mentioning that it was a mistake, mentioning that they never should have been sent, that they were lied to by Maggie Thatcher. Enough said. And there's an incredible scene where Sean reacts to Combo speaking badly of people who are in the Falklands. It's brilliant. I mean, it's just so real. I find it hard to believe. You got to see it to believe it. He reacts violently to someone speaking badly, as he did at the very start of the film. When someone told a despicable joke about his father at the start. But even just Combo mentioning the war absolutely triggers him. And then he finds that he doesn't want, essentially he feels now, with Combo's leadership, he sees the ultimate father figure. He sees the ultimate leader, the person he inspires to be. And unfortunately, it's taken him down a negative road into extreme right-wing behaviour. And Combo is, he plays it charming, he's charismatic, but he's also sociopath. He's got sociopathic tendencies. He can change on the drop of a dime, from happy-go-lucky to pure rage, which is, we all know someone like that, who at the drop of a hat can just turn on you for pretty much no reason. And he plays that character absolutely perfectly. And Lol as well is a side character in it, but still prominent. Vicky McClure, incredible actress, by the way. Keep your eyes and ears open for her. Just brilliant. She had a thing with Combo just very briefly before he went to prison. And there's a stunning scene with the two of them in Combo's car, the back and forth. It's breathtaking. The performance from Steve, like, he is incredible. I mean, I sing his name from the rooftops. Like the you know, Stephen Graham, Jack O'Connell, Paddy Considine, Peter Mullen, Ray Winstone. I mean, there's just a certain amount of British actors that are just flawless. They really are, and they do not get the recognition they deserve. And I don't think they want it either. That's the beauty of it. The thing about the actor Ray Winstone, who you know, of course, from Nil by Mouth, I will be talking about that film soon. Drop a comment if you want me to do a review on Gary Oldman's Nil by Mouth, another one of Philbo's favourites. Spoiler for one of the videos down the line, but what can you do? Gotta wet your whistle somehow. He takes on the roles that absolutely no one will take. Scum, Nil by Mouth, The War Zone, Tim Roth's The War Zone. One of the most difficult films to watch on planet Earth. But he takes it on and attacks it and does an unforgettable performance. Terrifying. I mean, he is brilliant. But Stephen Graham is in that category as well. He is an absolutely sensational actor, and this is his absolute tour de force. Brilliant. And the scene with him and Vicky McClure in the car, him and Combo and Lol, second to none. Perfectly filmed, beautifully written, real and authentic This film is so authentic. You if you turned it on randomly, you'd swear it was a documentary rather than a film. But like, it's just shot so well. The 80s production is unbelievable. The soundtrack is fantastic. I mean, Thomas Turgros, he lost his mother in real life 1 year before this film, and Shanemeadows dedicated the film to his mother. So his raw emotions of losing a parent are completely real. Granted, it's his father in the movie, but in reality, it's his mother, and his mother is played very well. I pardon, I don't have her name at the moment in the movie. Her mother is played perfectly as well. Everybody is just so good, and the film isn't overly long. I think it's about 95, maybe 97 minutes, something like that. So, and it's a perfect story. I mean, the ending is extremely powerful. I'm brought to tears every single time I watch it. It's so real. It's frightening. It's frighteningly real. And Sean and Combo's performance in the last scene is, yeah, it's real. It feels real, and it's so frightening, and it's the epitome of rage. You know, it's the epitome of what rage can look like, and how you push rage onto people, say black people or Indian people or any kind of person. You put the rage and you say that they're the cause of your rage, but they're not. They're not really the cause of your rage. The cause of your rage, in Combo's case, isn't anything to do with the fact that a person is black or brown or anything like that. His rage is self manifested from his youth. And the scene, I don't want to tell you anymore. The scene is just incredible. He begins to speak to himself, and you start getting an idea of the root of this rage during the scene. And don't cry, real men don't cry. That's what he says to Sean, and it's so powerful. We've all heard that from someone in our life, and that is another classic example of a product of the times, the early 80s, where it's not manly to cry. Real men don't cry. Real men don't show their emotions. And what is the product? Men keeping in their emotions, keeping in their rage, keeping in their fear, keeping in everything until it explodes into violence and destruction. And you turn to alcohol, you turn to drugs, you turn to fighting, just to vent this, because you've never been able to verbally put it out, because real men don't fucking cry, is what is said by Combo in the final scene. And it hits home. Thank God we're in an age now where we're learning slowly. We're not completely there yet. We're learning slowly to reach out and funnel any rage. The way I used to handle any anger or rage issues when I was a teenager, I didn't turn to, I did, well, of course, teenager whiskey and metal, you know, the two go hand in hand, but mosh pits, you know, mosh slam dancing at trash metal gigs and death metal gigs, you know, just beating ever loving shades of shit out of each other, drunk as hell, and knocking the shit out of each other at a heavy metal gig. And that was how I handled rage and anger in my early teens, because I lost my dad when I was 7, lost my best friend, my nanny, Grant, when I was 12, just about 13, and the mosh pit stopped me from picking fights, and stopped me from causing rows, and stopped me from street fighting and all that kind of stuff, because in the mosh pit, it was a controlled area for you and your brothers, you and your friends, to throw your weight around, act the bollocks, head bang, enjoy the music, and then as soon as it's over, shake hands, see you at the next gig, comparing bruises, having a laugh, see you at the next gig. And that was the outburst. But in the early 80s, again, the early 80s is when thrash metal was born. That's where the metalheads distributed their rage and their anger and everything, getting drunk and moshing. I mean, 83, like, Metallica were just out, Slayer were just out. I mean, except all the best thrash bands were out around 83. It was an incredible time for music. But in this story, in the East Midlands, in the skinhead subculture, this was the way they would spend their time. And unfortunately, Thomas Turcrose's character of Sean looked up to the wrong person, which we can all relate to as well. We all admired, we all idolized someone who turned out to be a mistake at least some stage in our life. Don't you agree? So that's all I have to say about the film. I suggest you watch it. Absolutely and positively. It's got an incredible cast. It's beautifully directed. It's a literally time capsule film of 1983. The production, the music, everything about it is... I know I have no memories of 1983 because I was born in 1985. And you can't remember much in the first 5 years of your life. So the furthest back I remember is maybe 1989, maybe 1988. Watching Child's Play from behind a couch, scared to death. That was 1988, I think. I think that's my earliest memory. Watching Child's Play on VHS from behind the couch, being absolutely terrified. So I have no memory of 83, but I can imagine someone who does getting a massive kick, and especially British people, of course, because the film is set in England. It's an incredible film with incredible performances and teaches a very, very important lesson, which is portrayed in the last 2 seconds of the film. So I don't want to tell you, of course, because I want you to watch it, and I want you to drop some comments down below. I want you to let me know if you've seen the film. I want you to let me know what you think. If I've given you enough to make you want to see the film, that nothing thrills me more. That is why I do these reviews. I want you to watch this film, and I want you to tell me what you think. I value your opinion. Am I way off the mark? Am I giving it more credit than it deserves? Or am I absolutely on the money and you've just watched one of your new favourite films thanks to my recommendation? That is the pinnacle and the cherry on top of what I'm trying to achieve here. So thanks a million for watching. 27 minutes on This Is England 2006. Do you know what? I could speak for 127 minutes on this film. It is a masterpiece. I absolutely adore it. Even watching it now, this is like the 20th anniversary, 2006. So this is the hopefully they put a 4K out or something. Anyone out there, Shanemeadows or Optimum Releasing or anything, do a 4K of This Is England for the 20th anniversary, because this year is the 20th anniversary of that film. So check it out. This Is England 2006. This is the second Shanemeadows film in Philbo's favourite. So you're starting to see a pattern here. Love Shanemeadows. So be sure to like and subscribe. Hype the video if you like. And if you've made it to 27 minutes in this review, do me a favour and put a flame, the fire emoji, down in the comments. So if I see the flames and the fire emojis, I'll know you got to this point in the video, which is absolute dedication. Really appreciate it. 28 minutes of your time spent with yours truly, Philbo, in Dublin, Ireland means the absolute fucking world to me. And that is the truth. That is what's real. Now you can take that to the bank and cash it immediately, because that is the 100% truth. May the sun always shine. May this beautiful Thursday continue. May the sun shine where you are, figuratively and actually. Thanks for watching. Philbo is well and truly out.